very careful what you admire. Hello there, this is Pastor Pete Pawelek. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Daily Devo. Don't forget, you can connect with me over at my website, pastorpete.org. Today I've been reflecting in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16, and in the limited time we have here today, I want to read to you just two verses, verses 14 and 15, where Jesus says something extremely significant and powerful. It says, starting in verse 14, the Pharisees, who were lovers of money, were listening to all these things and scoffing at him. He told them, "You are the ones who justify yourselves in the sight of others, but God knows your hearts. For what is highly admired by people is revolting in God's sight." Is revolting in God's sight. I think there's two big lessons here for me today and for you, two things that I would touch on. Number one, Jesus says, hey, don't be so worried about justifying yourself in front of people because God knows what's in your heart. You can fool people, but you cannot fool God. You can fool me, but you cannot fool God. I can fool you, but I cannot fool God. Never make the mistake of thinking you can fool God because God knows your heart. And then here's the second one. For what is highly admired by people is revolting in God's sight. I don't think Jesus means everything people admire is revolting to God. Certainly godly people admiring godly things, probably those things are not revolting to God in His sight. But here He is not talking to godly people. He's talking about godly people putting on a show to show how godly they are. And He says, God knows your heart. And what He sees there is revolting. Be careful what you admire. It's easy to admire things of the world, to admire things our neighbors have, to admire things other people we go to church with have. It's easy to admire stuff. It's easy to admire people. It's easy to admire power. But be careful what you admire, because many of those things are absolutely revolting to God. I hope that challenges you. I hope it inspires you to consider, what are you admiring in other people, and what is in your heart? What does God see? Have a great day. May God bless you richly today as you walk with Him and serve Him. I hope to see you again for another edition of the Daily Devo tomorrow. Until then, come over and connect with me at pastorpete.org.